His fundamental belief that self-belief is a driving factor in his success. Who's hopped up on D-ball, cocaine, and self-belief, the results can be terrifying.
They know who I am.
I don't know
On
who
TV,
you
they
are.
know who I am.
Oh, big boy.
Yeah, you know what the world's strongest man competition is.
There's also ample film footage of him playing dirty, of him intimidating judges. You will hear him go on about his own greatness, disparage other competitors.
JPBF の京とか知ってんの？みんな使ってんじゃん JPBF だと結局。木澤さんとかより俺のセンスあるじゃねえかどう考えたって。
And there was, up until very recently, evidence of him harassing young female powerlifters on Instagram. Quagmire was the epitome of a poisonous competitive mindset. Defy our basic understanding of good sportsmanship. Making minor health sacrifices or not taking a vacation or break. A backwards, toxic, poisonous relationship with winning and losing that leads to antisocial behavior. The most notable signs of this are people who have a violent, aggressive temper, people that fly off the handle when things don't go their way. People who have dysfunctional personal relationships, very often strained relationships. Who are very impulsive and also who have a self-centeredness that gives them kind of an entitlement to break the rules. It's all about me and winning rather than the team, the other competitors, of what you would think of as a high-performing CEO, stockbroker, or lawyer. And it might actually make their performance more volatile and unpredictable and their success more short-lived than if they didn't do that. And it's also not obvious that the trade-off is needed for them to reach their full potential. Studies in psychology tell us that athletes rank higher on tests that look for traits of the dark triad. Now, the dark triad tests for 3 personality traits that includes Machiavellianism, narcissism, psychopathy, and every now and then there's a buy 3, get 1 free deal going on where they throw in sadism to make it the dark tetrad. Narcissism is what starts the whole thing off. It's the I deserve to be on top. This is the motivation for wanting to achieve in the first place. Now, narcissism is one of the most vulnerable traits on this list because it's based on the needs of a fragile ego. Now, Machiavellianism is the I'll do whatever it takes to get on top. That's the cunningness, the cheating, the backstabbing, going to extremes, breaking rules, state-sponsored doping rings. Anytime the rules of conduct or the spirit of the sport is violated in favor of winning. But the real problems occur when Machiavellianism is paired with the rest of the dark traits. So we have I want to be on top, I'll do whatever it takes. Psychopathy is the I don't care how it affects you. It would be empathy for others, a basic human feeling of not wanting to cause too much harm to other people. Psychopaths see other people as objects, and the most notorious toxic winners have this trait in spades. He'd broken up with his longtime high school girlfriend by packing her suitcase and sending it to her parents' hotel room with a letter. The way he responded when Steve Scott saved him from accidentally scratching in their epic head-to-head match, not even thanking him, not even acknowledging the incredible sportsmanship of it, treating it like the weakness of inferior prey. The way he'd left his college golf team to go pro without even saying goodbye to his teammates. The way after he finished eating with his family or friends, he'd simply get up and leave without saying a word. In more aggressive sports, Machiavellian psychopaths will have no problem using violence to their benefit, such as Bill Romanowski.
I just snapped it.
Real includes spitting in the faces of opponents, breaking fingers, kicking heads, and as mentioned earlier, breaking the eye socket of a teammate and ending his career. But even psychopaths aren't by definition driven to violence. They're just simply defined by the fact that they don't really care. That desire to cause harm. Sadism is the I want you to lose and I want you to hurt in the process.
Winning was fun. Beating someone's even better.
Where joy is taken from the failure of others, from submitting and hurting other people. And all of these traits can be innate predispositions, qualities that were built into you, that you were going to have regardless of what environment you were brought to be in, but they become especially nasty. They can impose unrealistic standards and teach and reinforce the norm that winning is the goal and it should be sought at all costs. His father Earl, who was a former Green Beret, and in Tiger's own words, he raised him to be a cold-blooded assassin. From the age of 1, involved cheating when they played, supposedly to keep Tiger humble. and taunting him with racial slurs to help his focus under stress, of course. Some athletic teams mirror this no-holds-bar approach to competition, rationalizing that a cold and unforgiving system that expects everything and gives nothing back is the surest way to guarantee the best product. Make everybody fight each other to the death. The Bulgarian team's a great example of this, as the approach to success was absolutely loony. Instead of playing into the hyper-complicated percentage-based fuckery that was Soviet programming back in the day, where you were constantly rolling back and forth between different variables to get the most adaptation while still making the work manageable and recoverable, the Bulgarians said, fuck fatigue. The body adapts, and if these guys want it bad enough, they will too. The Bulgarian routine involved hitting a 1-rep max in 3 lifts, 3 times a day, 6 days per week. What, did they have something to do on Sunday? A huge psychological downside, as John Bros often talked about. Athletes would experience the dark times, some 1.5 to 2 year period of time where your hormones would be absolutely fucked. And it took that long for your brain and your endocrine system to adapt. Broke people, mentally, physically. The approach works because when you have an abundance of people vying for a spot on the team, you have plenty of eggs that you can break. And it might be in your best interest. And that's how a small country like Bulgaria managed to secure so many Olympic lifting medals. They were Olympic lifters. They lived in a compound, had their meals planned. They were handled by coaches. They were massaged daily, given a state-sponsored drug regimen. In addition to that, many of them had this as their only way out of poverty. But it's also not reproducible outside of that extreme context. Now in powerlifting, Westside became famous for their dominance in equipped lifting, which many credited to the training system. The secret sauce of Westside, I believe, was that cutthroat training environment, which was as close to an Eastern European Olympic training camp as anything that had ever existed in powerlifting. It was completely unique to have a place where not only were people selected for their talent, you had to be invited, but you were expected to show up and fight like hell or get the hell out. The competitiveness of Westside was legendary. It was a mix of radical personality types, social dysfunction, unreasonable expectations, and the need for ultimate approval. It was specifically driven by Louis, who I have heard from multiple people described specifically as a master manipulator. He was reportedly an expert at finding everybody's insecurity and using it against them, especially if it could pit them against another competitor to get him a record. Any reasonable moral human being is going to find themselves more willing to break rules as the stakes rise to a sufficient level. Like if you have somebody in poverty, they're probably not going to be so concerned with cheating as a big moral question. If I don't do it, plenty of other people are going to do it, so why not me? Someone you care about is going to get hurt. At that point, cheating suddenly doesn't seem like that big of a moral concern. To these people, the competition is always representative of the highest possible stakes. If you're a narcissistic Machiavellian psychopath, you wouldn't. The cost of that compulsive behavior, emotional volatility, and pissing off every person involved in the sport might rack up to be higher than what you actually gain. These dark traits are often rationalized by many as a necessary means of obtaining excellence, like you have to transcend normal societal boundaries and do what others won't, despite their talent. The ones who maintain relationships because of their status, not the content of their character. The more extreme expression of dark traits lead to outright illegal activity that don't just hurt performance, they get you expelled from the league, racked up with numerous fines. It absolutely bleeds into the rest of their life, and it makes every single thing worse for it. Strength and performance is fleeting, but the core of who you are is here to stay. Life is a process of continuously getting better till the day you die. Everything is about growth. If you are not growing, you are dying, and that growth does not happen without competition. The games we play are simulations for the life equation that effort plus strategy plus time. It affects our ability to properly interpret social cues, distinguish between playful aggression and real aggression. It impacts learning to control their aggressive impulses. It impacts our ability to develop empathy, develop the ability to read body language, develop problem solving, develop cognitive flexibility, and the big one for the totality of sport to exist in the first place, social bonding, which is hindered when you're the asshole that ruins it for everybody. As the saying goes, you're the product of your 5 closest friends. It turns out that your immediate future is pretty easy to predict. Competition is the most important thing. It's winning that actually isn't that important. We are better for competition, we need it. but only if we do it well. So that's all I got for today, guys. Let me know what you think. Who is your favorite toxic competitor? Was watching Bill Romanowski maim people a secret guilty pleasure of yours? Or do you think that this type of behavior shouldn't be allowed in any sports league? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Till next time, this is Bromley. I'll see ya.